everybody. Good morning. It's about 8:35 in the morning on the 5th of November, 2020, and I'm here to do my normal regular update on the ES chart, the S&P 500, on NQ, Nasdaq. Also, we'll be taking a look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin is doing some interesting things here this morning. Um, and yeah, we're still right around election time. And just as a reminder, a few weeks ago I was talking about, basically saying exactly what is happening right now. I said that on election night, Donald Trump would be shown as a clear leader in a lot of states, and after the mail-in ballots are counted, um, Biden would eventually be the winner, and so I still think that that is true. I still think that that Biden will end up being the president, regardless of who I voted for, regardless of who you voted for. At the end of the day, I do think that Biden will eventually show to be the winner. I think it's going to be a long, strung out process, but we'll get there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts because really whoever wins the election doesn't really matter to us. It's just a matter of determining where the markets are going to go from there. If a Republican gets in as president, more than likely the market is not going to perform as well as if a Democrat were to become president. And that's just been historically accurate. We've been talking about that on the Discord, which if you don't have access to our Discord, just throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. But the uh, the history tells us that we have an underperforming stock market compared to a Democratic president. So if we have a Democrat that becomes president, the market does not perform as well as if a Republican is in office, and that is just a fact of the matter. The market generally goes up regardless of who is in. It's just it performs better if there is a Democrat in office. That does not give any kind of endorsement to one party or another. It's just data. And as you guys all know, I am a data-driven person. And that's just how I see it. All right, so let's just take a look here at ES. We were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about this, this channel, this down channel, this upwards channel. This is looking like the best place to try and short right here. This looks like the best place to give it a shot. And we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about potential for a wedge, and I probably have it laid out a little bit better over here. We didn't quite get there, but when we were doing this video yesterday, I mean, pretty much I said exactly this. We were back here. I said, yeah, let's go up, and then let's see what happens. Maybe we go down. Let me go to a 2-hour time frame here, because this is very possible that this happens. Like ultimately, I do believe that we go up. I believe that we go up, and there's nothing that you can say that's going to make me believe otherwise, unless we start breaking down below this trend line down here. So we've got this potential wedge happening here where we have a potential buy down here. But if this fails, well, we still have this guy down here to pay attention to. And this again is right down here at that 310 to 315 area that we have been discussing for a while. Maybe we do end up finding our way down there. That I don't know. But what I can say is, it looks like we could be putting in a wedge. If we get a dominant pivot up here, I think the likelihood is pretty high. And when I say a dominant pivot, I mean we need to start. Let me just tell you what I mean when I say we need a dominant pivot. Okay, because I know that's probably not clear. This becomes a dominant pivot if we start taking out this resistance level. This resistance level. I would venture to say, this is kind of a mess right here, but I mean, really, the next level that is really important is this guy down here, which I had this being an area of support, but we need to start flipping. Yeah, I suppose this is important over here as well. If you take a look left, this right here is another important level to take out. But if we start doing something like from up here, down, up, down, up, down, up, support, up, down, up, resistance, down, up, down, up, down. This is how we could get there. This would create the dominant pivot. The first sign that I see that we are taking out a support level and making it resistance, that would be my first sign of weakness. And that would be what would create this dominant pivot. And what would we have if this happened? Well, you know, people like to take a look at formations. We got a shoulder, we have a head, and we have a potential shoulder. Especially if we find ourselves coming down here and then going up into the resistance and then rejecting, that would be a perfect sign for a head and shoulders. And then where would this thing go back to? It would go back to where it started, and it started right here. From right here, we shot up, left shoulder, neckline, head, maybe neckline, shoulder, back to the start, which is right back down here. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. It doesn't mean that's what has to happen. I'm just saying that if we are going to get some kind of a head and shoulders, we got to come back down here to the neckline. We have to go back up and create a right shoulder, and then we come down. Then we start flipping support and resistance levels. But this level right here now is pretty important for us, and that's at 3480. Okay, so historically I have said, and I guess historically I mean yesterday, I've said that this level is going to be resistance, and so far we're getting a little bit of a rejection there. If we bust up above this, that is extremely strong. Okay, so if we start doing something that looks a little bit like this, where we break up above here, and we start doing something like this, we're going to shoot up. If we start consolidating above this trend line, then this is no longer a wedge. Okay, this is something we are going to shoot up, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen hard and fast. So just be ready and be prepared for something like that, because it is very likely that that is what could happen. You like how I throw in all of these probability speaks? It is what could, right? Ultimately, if we do create a dominant pivot here and we do break this trend line, we're probably just, again, going to come back down here to this green box and start moving up. But for right now, right, this is too early to tell. There's 16 minutes left on this 3-hour candle. It's too early to tell, but so far we're creating another lower high. All right, we created a higher low here, created a lower high here. It's only going to happen one more time. If we do come down here and we create this pivot, if we create a pivot down here, that's going to be basically the last chance that you've got to get into good positions right down here. And this is going to be at 325 or so. Options, man, any longer dated option is just being decimated here, because if you got into a short on NQ up here and you didn't close it out down here, well, look at what happened. And if you were in some kind of a put on this, it's right back to where you bought in, but we're talking like from October 12th to November 5th, almost a month later, you're not looking too good, not looking too good. So this is my two thoughts on the S&P 500 at least, is we could be having an A, B, C, D, E scenario. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's that to pay attention for. There's also the scenario that we could have an A, B, C, where this is actually the bottom here, and we're going to impulse up and out of here. So this would be the 1, and then we go in for the 2, and then we go up much higher. So that is a possibility as well, that we have created a bottom, and then we just go up from here. I tend to think that there's going to be some political BS that happens over the next couple weeks, and that's going to cause the market to pull back to create the E, and then we go up from there. It makes sense. Let's take a look at NQ. This guy, very, very similar. Okay, so this looks almost identical. I'm going to remove this. I'm not actually going to be very interested in putting a count on this right now, even though what it looks like, let me just kind of remove this guy right here. What it looks like is, this looks actually pretty strong. I think ES has been stronger than NQ, but at the same time, NQ didn't go down quite as far. It came down to the 786, which leads me to believe this thing could gravitate up to new highs up here at about 12,630 or so. So watch out for that because that is something you should be paying attention to. I really wanted to see NQ come down to 10,450, but that hasn't happened yet. Not that it won't, but it hasn't. It came down here to the 618 and has found support there and is now moving up. And if you look left, lots of support clusters, and it comes all the way back to probably before here. But this guy right there, I mean, that's pretty important. That's at 10,933. We'll call it 11,000. 11,000. This range actually, this range is pretty important for NQ, starting from all the way up here, working ourselves down to right here. Okay, that has been pretty strong support. Actually, it was pretty strong resistance, and then it was support here. We fell through, but we got bought up twice, and then we kind of came back down to it again, and now we're moving up. Now we're moving up. This doesn't look like an inverted head and shoulders or anything like that. This doesn't look like a cup and handle, right? That doesn't look like that to me. It came too deep. It went down to the 786. That's too deep. Cup and handles usually only come down to about the 50 and then go up from there. Again, not super bullish. I mean, I am bullish, but right now, short term, I'm not super bullish. But we could see ourselves moving up and out of here. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin on my Bitstamp chart, looking good. Looking good. We did get a little bit of a rejection. We got up to almost 15,000, 14,999.90, getting a little bit of a rejection down to about 14,9. This still looks okay, right? And maybe we do get a pivot up here. I still think, and obviously this didn't come back down in here into our green buying zone. Obviously that didn't happen. Actually, it almost looks as if we are in the middle of creating a little bit of a parabola. So we'll go ahead and throw this guy on here because this is something that looks like we're in the middle of creating. And let me just pull this guy back over here. This guy over here, short term, looks like a little bit of a parabolic move up. Now maybe we move sideways for just a little bit, finish our move up here. I still think we move up to 15, 15.4, something like that. So obviously we're doing a little bit of a pullback now. Markets are going to start getting a little more active here in the next 13, 12 minutes. So things are going to happen here in the next few hours. Maybe we do get a little bit of a pullback. Ultimately, I do think we do find our way up to about 15.4. So just keeping an eye on that. Keeping an eye on that, because then once we do finally get up there, again, let me just remove some of this because I know this looks really messy. All right, and actually I'm not married to this being a WXY, so let me clean this up and just kind of let you guys know what I actually think is going on here. I do think this is an ABC from right here. I think what we've got from down here, and I actually think this is the 1, this is the 2, and then we've got the 3 up here. This is the 4, and then we're going to be going up for the 5. All right, so let me remove this guy, put this one on a higher degree because this is going to be a higher degree up there. And this 1, I actually think the 1 is right here, the 2 is right here. This looks like the 5, and there's a little more clarity on this. This 3, A, B, C down here into the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3. This I do not believe is 5 waves. So then from there, I think we've got an ABC correction from up here. A, B, C. Okay, so we'll put that down there, ABC, here into the 4. All right, let's give this the same color. All right, here we go. 1, 2. So right there, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 5th, into the 3rd, A, B, C into the 4, and then we've got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, working on finishing this move. Okay, so 4, and then we're working on this last move, right? And we are and have been for a long time now. I mean, since way back here, we've been talking about this. I'll move up here to 15.4, and then finally, after a little bit of a pullback, we finish this last move to find our way. And again, likely maybe the new year, maybe this happens faster. I don't know. I don't know. It could happen faster. We might blow right through this, but ultimately up here to about 16,900, 17,000. Very, very possible we make our way up there. So keeping an eye on that because this area up here is of high interest to me. And again, if we go out to say a daily time frame and take a look at this, what do we have up there? Well, we have a 50% range expansion target to the upside that's sitting right there. If we do happen to push up and out of here, I mean we're talking to move to about $26,000. So I would be careful, I'd be cautious shorting, but it seems to me, again, looking left, this block right here seems like there is some merit to there being some significant resistance right there, and that's at 17,200, right at the top of where we are, where we're keeping an eye on. So if we do get that rejection, it's very, very possible that we find our way back down at the 2,500 levels over the next year or so. Not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. Not saying we have to get down there, but what I'm saying is this, psychologically speaking, looks to me like we are preparing for a bit of a blow off top. I don't have volume on here, so let me see. I do have volume. There we go. Throw some volume on there. This hourly candle, a lot of volume, and it's red volume so far. We still have 7 minutes left. We look like we're trying to get bought up. We're down about $150 from where we kind of pegged out in this hourly candle. So, just watching this volume as it goes up. Obviously, there was a lot of volume back here, but a lot of the higher volume candles have been red. We have seen a lot of good green volume candles. And I'm on the Bitstamp chart. So, taking a look at some other exchanges, BTC USD on Coinbase. Again, not as much selling volume on Coinbase as there has been on Bitstamp, but lots of buying volume. Again, lots of buying volume that we have seen, and actually, this not a lot of selling volume on Coinbase as there has been on Bitstamp. Let's take a look at Binance. Lots of volume on Binance, and still, I don't know. It's hard to tell if this is distribution. If this is distribution, we will probably hang out up here just a little bit longer. Let me go to a 3-hour time frame. I'm just going to put one thing on here, and I'm going to try and get this right because there's somebody on the Discord server that pointed this out, and it looked really, really nice. So this guy right here, and actually I could poke him up there. This looks a little bit better. All right, and the reason why this looks better is because so we've got this bottom here, bottom here, right? So lots of touches down here in the bottom. We have some resistance right here, but look at the median. The median looks good here. The median looks good here. Lots of chop here at the median, chop here at the median, pushing up, getting halfway up to the upper, right? Same thing happened about right here. We chopped up here at the upper, and then we pushed up here to the top of the channel. And let me just pull this guy over here to the left so we get a little bit more here. This goes back a ways. This goes all the way back to October. Didn't quite get to the bottom, but it could just be that my slope is just a little bit off. So something like that. But it's still showing that this channel is valid in ways. So let me throw an expansion on here. The 2 is probably, I need the -1. Where's my -1? Throw him down there. All right, and so this was the bottom. So this works out pretty well. I know that there was a lot of like overload and just a bunch of garbage that was happening there. But even going all the way back here, we have lots of chop up here at the top of this as we see an expansion. All right, so very possible again this makes its way up here, and that goes up to 16.5, 16.4, 16.5. This is where we're looking at, and very, very possible this happens. I don't know if this is going to happen today, but it looks like it wants to make its way up there to that upper part of the channel. So Just be very careful if you are trying to short, because I wouldn't advise it. This looks too strong. This looks too strong. Going back to the hourly, again, on the volume here, the volume is red, but it's trying to get bought back up. It's trying to get bought back up. If we throw a VPVR on this, which is the volume profile for your visible rows, go to a 4-hour time frame, what do we have? From all the way from March, a lot of the volume occurred from 11,000 down to about 8,500. That's where a lot of the volume was. There was a lot of consolidation right here before we finally broke out, claimed new support, and we're finding our way up here. I mean, really, there's clear skies. So we could quickly rip up here to the 16.4 mark. So again, if you're planning on shorting, just be careful. One last thing. One more thing. I've got 4 minutes left here. One more thing I want to discuss is Bitcoin dominance. Going to the daily, watching this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3, A, B, C into the 4. Are we going to finally make our way up here? I say finally because we've just been waiting for this. Once this sucker hits anywhere above 80% dominance, I'm going to probably move some funds out of my personal stock account into alts, because this looks like we could be setting up for a significant alt season. It could be that this does not happen until, December of 2021. It could be a year away, but alt season, it looks like we have a little bit of time here. So, just give it some time. Give it some time. If we take our time based and we measure wave 1 and we project it from the bottom of wave 4, it could be that this happens. Actually, I mean, it could be that we get up to 80% by Christmas. It's possible, and that would make sense if Bitcoin goes up crazy. It would make sense that dominance just rips to the upside. It could be that this happens by Christmas. So again, we're measuring wave 1 and we're taking it from where wave 4 is projected to end, and getting ourselves right up here. It seems possible. It seems possible. Now, obviously, we did take a long time correcting this, but it looks like we are setting up for a significant move to the upside on dominance. So if dominance goes up, alts are going to hurt, and that's okay. Because just one thing to say here, if you've got something that's worth $10 and you own it at $10, it's going to take a lot more to 2x than if it were only worth $1 or $2, right? If you're expecting your $10 asset to go to $20, it could easily depreciate in value to $1 or $2. If it's still going to go to $20 and you own it for 10, you're making 100% profit for it to go from $10 to $20. Whereas if it's from $1 going to $20, now you're talking about 2,000%. So is my math right on that? I think it is. But one way or another, I'll have to go back and check my mental math on that. But if alts go down and if Bitcoin is going up, alts are going to go down in value more than likely, especially if dominance continues to increase. Yeah, your USD value on your alts is going to rise, but not at the same rate as if you were sitting in Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin finally does top out, that is when I would suggest getting into alts, because then when dominance decreases, you better believe that the alts are going to rise, and it will happen quickly. You will not have a whole lot of time to get yourself in the rotation. So that's why I'm saying once it gets above 80%, I'm going to start putting money into alts. Right now, I'm not a huge fan, which is why I haven't been taking a look at them. When we see this thing start to turn, then I will, I'll take a different stance. But for right now, Bitcoin dominance at 65, almost 66%. It's looking pretty good. All right, we're at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and end it. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Tell your friends. If you want access to the Discord, throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day.